When you think of college basketball, you think of Duke, you think of Kansas, Kentucky, Michigan State. But there's a new blue blood on the rise, with a rookie head coach that if you've watched the NBA, you've probably heard of before, coming in with one of the best recruiting classes we have ever seen. You may recognize this man, Penny Hardaway. At one point, the most up-and-coming guard in the entire NBA, destined to lead the Orlando Magic with Shaq to an NBA title. Now clearly his career didn't work out as he planned, as after his 5th year in 1997, his stats dropped off for the rest of his 13-year career. But for those young people who have never heard of Penny Hardaway, the NBA player, they'll be sure to find out who Penny Hardaway, the coach, is. Penny actually began his coaching career just 4 years after he left the Miami Heat in his last year in 2007. He actually took over at his middle school alma mater, Leicester Middle School, while their original coach was undergoing treatment for cancer. Hardaway actually led that team to a 28-3 season and won 2 state titles in his 2 years. But as soon as Memphis fired their former coach Tubby Smith, Penny Hardaway was the most logical choice to replace him at his alma mater Memphis, which 10 years ago to the date, Derrick Rose had brought Memphis and John Calipari to the NCAA championship game. But now with a new coach in Penny Hardaway and new life brought to the Memphis program, it is only a matter of time before Penny Hardaway changes the Memphis Tigers back into an NCAA powerhouse. In his first year at Memphis, Penny really didn't change anything from when Tubby Smith was there. They finished 22-14 and lost in the second round of the NIT to Creighton. But Penny knew what he was doing, as the recruiting class he put together for this upcoming season is easily #1 in the country and may turn out to be the turning point for this Memphis program that has been starving for a star ever since Derrick Rose left. So let's take a look at the recruiting class that Penny Hardaway has put together and see how the Memphis Tigers are potent for a championship run. A part of any great college team is the crown jewel. There's always that one star that makes that recruiting class unlike any other in that school's history. And for Memphis, that's the #1 recruit in the country, James Wiseman. Wiseman played at Memphis East, a powerhouse in the Nashville area for high school basketball, and really showed his stuff. Averaged a double-double, couple blocks per game, and completely dominated the high school level. He defeated teams like Shadow Mountain, whose defense was known to be suffocating with pure athleticism and dominance on the offensive glass. Wiseman is a freak on both ends of the floor. He's got a 7'6" wingspan, a 9' 3" standing reach, and the offensive ability to handle lobs and catch the ball with relative ease. Wiseman is an offensive player that really we have not seen paired with athleticism like that. He's been able to knock down mid-range jump shots, post-up shots, and really been able to show off his post moves against some great competition like Shadow Mountain this past season. Wiseman, for the #1 recruiting class in the nation, is a player that you can build your whole team around. He's a player that can dominate both ends of the floor and can really be a team leader for such a team like Memphis that is just coming onto the national scene after nearly a decade of absence. Penny Hardaway seems to have hit the jackpot with his #1 recruit and knows James Wiseman inside and out. But without a #1 recruit, you need the team around them to make them a national title contender. And Penny Hardaway has been able to put that together with an unbelievable class to put around Wiseman. Montverde Academy is an academy associated with greatness. Players like Ben Simmons, D'Angelo Russell, and RJ Barrett have come out of the academy in just the past 5 years. But the next race player to come out of Montverde is Precious Achiuwa. Now please excuse me butchering his last name, but Precious's game is almost like that of a butcher. He goes in for fast, decisive attacks and is able to really cause problems on both ends of the floor. Maybe not exactly like a butcher, but you get the analogy. Precious is an athletic freak. He's a guard, he's a forward, but he also has a 7'3" wingspan and 9' standing reach. Achiuwa is explosive, athletic, and all of the above. He's able to get a great first step off his dribble and attack the rim with a ferociousness that we have not seen in a while in NCAA basketball. Pairing Precious with James Wiseman will make one of the most formidable attacks on the rim in all of college basketball and will cause problems for any shot blocker or any team without a great rim protector on the inside. Achiuwa can slide down and play either guard position, either forward position, and still be able to guard 1 through 5. He's a great defender, finished in the Under Armour Association with 2 blocks per game in a very competitive AAU circuit. While Achiuwa may not have gotten the stats that you would expect from a high school level phenom, Achiuwa is going to shine on the next level under Penny Hardaway with James Wiseman to back him up. Achiuwa is the perfect player pairing with James Wiseman, and with the rest of the class, needs to be able to develop his shot in order to be a threat from the perimeter. But with the recruiting class that Penny Hardaway has put together, that should be no problem at all. Coach Penny Hardaway would love to beat the Duke Blue Devils, but to steal one of their recruits from right underneath their nose, that is some sinister stuff. Penny Hardaway was able to woo Boogie Ellis away from the Blue Devils when Duke signed perennial guard Cassius Stanley to be the new Duke shooting guard. Boogie Ellis decided to pack his bags and go over to Penny Hardaway and Mike Miller at Memphis. Boogie Ellis provides the perfect fit alongside Wiseman and Precious Achiuwa, who will be attacking the basket non-stop to be able to kick out to Boogie Ellis for wide open threes along the perimeter. Boogie Ellis is not the biggest athlete at only 6'2" and a meager 165 pounds, but is probably going to grow into his body throughout his year at Memphis and is going to be a knockdown shooter and crafty guard on the perimeter to help set up James Wiseman and Precious Achiuwa to be able to score inside. They have the guard, they had the forward, they had the big men, and now let's go over the rest of the recruiting class that makes this Memphis Tigers team a threat to every team across college basketball. Even after those 3 great recruits I just gave you a little biopic on, the Memphis Tigers still got number 48 recruit DJ Jeffries, a power forward who's a great defensive player from Olive Branch, Missouri, and an IMG guard, Lester Quinones, who will be the perfect guard to put along Boogie Ellis as an athletic slasher and creator on the offensive end. And they also just happen to have the next best center, Malcolm Dandridge, James Wiseman's teammate from Memphis East, as their 6th man coming off the bench, himself a top 100 recruit. And on the bench as well, Damian Baugh, also from Memphis, from Tennessee Preparatory Academy, a 6'4" lanky shooter who can be a great bench player for this Memphis team. Penny Hardaway has put together one of the best fitting recruiting classes in recent memory. They've signed the great coaching staff including Mike Miller, NBA coach and Sam Mitchell, and just hired former Suns assistant Cody Topper to fill out an NBA qualified coaching staff. They have the coaching staff, they have the players, they have the head coach, they have the program. Now it's all up for the cards to be dealt out and see where Memphis lands among the Blue Bloods and the dominant teams in college basketball. Michigan is down because of John Beilein leaving, there's no more Zion Williamson in Duke, and North Carolina lost key players in Luke May, Kobe White, and Cameron Johnson. The time for Memphis to strike is now, and they are doing exactly that. They have a loaded draft class, an NBA level coaching staff, and all the talent in the world to be a dominant team in college basketball. Now, all we have to do is wait and see if Penny Hardaway can bring his magic back to Memphis. This Memphis team is going to be a lot of fun to watch, so I'll be sure to put out an update video once they get about halfway through their season. But thank you guys for watching. Be sure to subscribe and stay tuned for our next video.